Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our time together. I certainly hope that you had a great Christmas. I know I did. And think of all the memories that you may have had. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today is memories. Remember last week, just before Christmas, I talked about my Christmas tree and how all my little ornaments were from children that I had taught and how that was my memory tree. Well, today we're going to be focusing on memories, Christmas memories, and thinking back of things. And that's what our craft is going to be today. It's going to be a very simple craft today because we're just going to use a plain sheet of paper and crayons, so markers, whatever you have. So that's what we're going to do today with our craft. Now, I have a special book today, and this is kind of a sad book, but it's one of my most favorite books because it deals with memories. Okay? And we are almost in the new year. We're just a few days away from it being 2021. Wow, where's the year gone? For some of us, it may have seemed like a long year because it's been a difficult year with so many things going on. But we can look forward to 2021 and think of the new year and the hope that we're going to have with the new year. All right. Today, the book that I would like to read, as I said, it's a little bit of a sad book, but it's a very good book. And it's one of my favorites, and it's called The Little Match Girl. And it's by a very famous author, Hans Christian Andersen. Okay, so let's get started. It was late on a bitterly cold New Year's Eve. The snow was falling. A poor little girl was wandering in the dark, cold streets. She was barefooted and bareheaded. She had, of course, had slippers on when she left home, but they were not much good, for they were so huge. They had last been worn by her mother, and they fell off the poor little girl's feet when she was running across the street to avoid two carriages that were rolling rapidly by. One of the shoes could not be found at all, and the other was picked up by a boy who ran off with it, saying that it would do for a cradle when he had children of his own. How mean some people can be. So the poor little girl had to walk with her little bare feet, which were red and blue with the cold. She carried a quantity of matches in her old apron and held a pocket of them in her hand. Nobody had bought any from her during all that long day, and nobody had even given her a copper. Now think, what is a copper? A copper is a penny. The poor little creature was hungry and perished with cold, and she looked the picture of misery. Bless her heart, she looked so cold there. Snowing and bare feet. Think about how cold it was a few days before Christmas and a few days after Christmas. The snowflakes fell on her long yellow hair, which curled so prettily around her face. She paid no attention to that. Lights were shining from every window, and there was a most delicious odor of roast goose in the streets. For it was New Year's Eve. She could not forget that. She found a corner where one house projected a little beyond the next one, and she crouched, drawing up her feet up under her, and she was colder than ever. She did not dare go home, for she had not sold any matches and had not carried a single penny. Her father would beat her, and besides, it was almost as cold at home as it was here. They had only the roof over them, and the wind whistled through it although they had stuffed with big cracks with rags and straw. Her little hands were almost stiff with cold. Oh, one little match would do so good. If she only dared, she would pull one out of her pocket and strike it on the wall to warm her fingers. She pulled one out. Whoosh! How it sputtered and blazed. It burnt with a bright, clear flame, just like a little candle when she held her hand around it. Now the light seemed very strange to her. The little girl fancied that she was sitting in front of a big stove with polished brass feet and handles. There was a splendid fire blazing in it and warming her so beautifully. But what happened? She's visualizing that she's next to a stove warming herself. Just as she was stretching out her feet to warm them, the flame went out. The stove vanished, and she was left sitting with the end of a burnt match in her hand. She struck a new one. It burnt, it blazed up where the light fell upon the wall. It became transparent, like gauze, and she could see right through it and into the room. The table was spread with a snowy cloth and pretty china. A roast goose stuffed with apples and plums were steaming on it. And what was even better, the goose hopped from the dish with the carving knife stuck in its back and waddled across the floor. It came right to the poor child, and then the match went out, and there was nothing to be seen but the thick black wall. She lit another match. This time she was sitting under a lovely Christmas tree. It was much bigger and much more beautifully decorated than the one she had ever seen when she was peeked through the glass doors at the rich merchants' homes that very Christmas. Thousands of lighted candles gleamed under its branches, and many colored pictures, such as she had seen in the shop windows, looked down at her. So she's visualizing all this. She's striking the match and she's remembering these things. The little girl stretched out both of her hands towards them. Then out went the match. All the Christmas candles rose higher and higher until she saw that they were only the twinkling stars. One of them fell and made a bright streak across the sky. Someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only person she had ever been kind to her, used to say, "When a star falls, a soul is going up to God." Now she struck another match against the wall, and this time it was her grandmother who appeared in the circle of the flame. She saw her quite clearly and distinctly, looking so gentle and happy. "Grandmother," cried the little creature, "oh, do take me with you. I know you will vanish when the match goes out. You will vanish like the warm stove and the delicious goose and the beautiful Christmas tree." She hastily struck a whole bunch of matches because she did so long to keep her grandmother with her. The little light of the matches made it as bright as day. Grandmother had never before looked so big or so beautiful. She lifted the little girl up in her arms, and they soared in a halo of the light and the joy, far, far above the earth, where there was no more cold, no hunger, and no pain. for they were with God. In the cold morning light, the poor little girl sat there in the corner between the houses with rosy cheeks and a smile on her face. Yeah. Frozen to death on the last night of the old year. New Year's Day broke on the little body, still sitting with the ends of the burnt-out matches in her hand. She must have tried to warm herself, they said. Nobody knew what beautiful vision she had seen, nor in what a halo she had entered with her grandmother upon the glories of the new year. What a sweet story. Yeah, it was sad. But you know, the little batch girl remembered the memories that she had, the memories of a long time ago, and the memories of her grandmother, and all of them were good memories. What are some memories that you had maybe this Christmas, or warm, wonderful memories that you've had of Christmases in the past? I'm sure you have some. And that's what we're going to do today, is I want you to take your sheet of paper, and I want you to take some crayons, and I want you to draw a picture of your Christmas memory. Something that maybe was very special. Maybe all the family gathering around the dinner table, or maybe all the presents around the tree, or the family gathering around, being together. Or maybe just a special Christmas gift that you got that you really like. I want you to draw your picture, and I want you to do something of Christmas memory, something that you remember about Christmas. Okay? Well, my Christmas memory this year was that I had a table, and I had several good friends that came and ate. Now, I got up Christmas morning, and I fixed a big meal of turkey and dressing and vegetables. And then they came, and we all, four of us, sat around, and we talked, and we ate, and we really had a good time. And that was a warm memory of having friends over for Christmas Day. And then I had some relatives that stopped by for just a few minutes. So that was a good Christmas memory. So I'm going to draw a picture maybe of my table. And I'm not a very good drawer, but I'm going to draw people. Okay? All right, people sitting around my table. Okay, eating. And then we had all kinds of good things on the table. We had like turkey and vegetables and bowls of things. And then maybe I might want to put a Christmas tree. Okay? Put a Christmas tree in my picture with all my ornaments, my memory ornaments in it. Okay? Let's see. Then, of course, I had my dogs. My dogs were there with me. So they were there at the table begging, wanting to have something to eat. Okay? So I draw a picture of my dogs. Okay? And so, anyway, you can do whatever you want to in making your picture. Okay? Making your picture of your memory of things that were special to you at Christmas time. Okay? And it could be a family, it could be your friends, it could be a lot of things. Okay? Now that's just my simple picture, okay, of my dinner table and my friends that came to visit with me, and that was just a special Christmas memory for me. So, you know, as you come along, Christmas memories, they're really, really great to have. And so, anyway, I'm so glad that you could join us today. And I hope that you make 2021 a really good year. And also remind you that we are doing Toddler Time live in the park every Friday. Now, we won't be meeting this Friday because that's New Year's Day, but we will be meeting the next Friday at Harmon Park at 10:30. So I hope that you can come out and join us. Have a great week. Bye.